Hey, good morning, everyone. How's it going today? Coach Alvarez here, back at you another episode, Coffee with Coach. Hope you're up, doing well on this awesome Saturday morning. Got the mind in the right place. If not, as always, let's put it in the right place. So, just up, doing the routine stuff again. Took my dog for a walk, and while I was taking my dog for a walk, I was listening to this more of this Jocko podcast. Again, it just depends, guys, where I'm, just what I click on and what just grabs my attention, what grabs my ear. The subject topic, it might be something that I'm going through or something that someone else is going through that, I'll share these goodies here. So this Jocko podcast, number 2, it's with Echo Charles about Facebook, mental toughness. So it's the second part. I didn't realize yesterday that there was 2 parts. So I think I was sharing the first podcast with you guys. But anyways, so what grabbed my attention today was, they get letters. These guys get letters sent into them all the time, Twitter questions or whatnot, YouTube questions, and then they'll answer the questions on their podcast. And a lot of it is mental toughness kind of stuff, because they're Navy SEAL guys, right? So if you're going to ask someone how to be mentally tough, you would go ask some of the toughest dudes around, and those would be some of them, because of the situations and the things that they've gone through and the things that they have to be put through to get to where they got to. They have to be mentally tough. And what caught my attention today was mental toughness just isn't one thing. It's a bunch of different things in all areas, which I totally agree on, because in the example they gave was, you can be tough in the gym, like killing the weights, or, let's say jujitsu, and, or you can be tough in fights, is what they said. But, your wife or your girlfriend or significant other leaves you and it crushes you and you get weak, and then your whole world falls apart. And I was always like, yeah, man, like that's, you see that happen quite a bit. Or they use the other example, like, you can be tough in all these other areas, but, it could be alcohol that crushes you, or drugs that crushes you, or, certain foods or sugars, what they said, that will crush you or your health and put you in a weak state, And they use Jon Jones. For those of you should all know who Jon Jones is, hopefully. But if not, UFC fighter, to me, one of the absolute best guys, dynamic, just an absolute monster in the ring. But he's a beast. Like he is what it is, beast in the ring and the gym and everywhere else. But when it comes to the drugs, he's weak. He's mentally weak to where, he's lost contracts, he's lost fights, he's lost opportunities, and like they said, he's just lucky that he's got a really good support system around him to keep him kind of in the game a little bit where he's at. So, it's just one of those things where we have to. What they're talking about is self-awareness, and ever since I started hearing that word, self-awareness, I am definitely more self-aware, or at least try to be. Again, everyone makes mistakes. You're gonna mess up, but when you're more self-aware, self-conscious of certain things that you do, or what you think, or how you eat, how you act, whatever, things definitely do get better. Because they were just talking about the downward spiral, and what crushes a person, and they were just talking about, like, I think everyone at some point has a loved one, a friend or family member or whatever, where you could literally just write down 2 sentences and they would have the answer to all their problems. But because of the mental weakness part of it, accepting where they're at, they're going to decide to stay there until they hit rock bottom. And once they hit rock bottom, then there's really nothing left. Like they said, death, jail, prison, something like that. So then you come back up. But the point is trying to avoid rock bottom and stay where you're at. I can relate to that, because I listen to a lot of business stuff, read, watch, whatever. And I always hear like certain individuals that are successful that will literally lose everything and then make a comeback and do even better. Okay. Well, that scares me because I don't want to lose everything. I don't want to lose my house. I don't want to lose, my family. I don't want to lose anything. I don't like losing, period. So I'm more self-aware to not make certain mistakes, or at least try not to. Okay. So that I don't lose my business, my students, my house, my cars, friends, family, relationships with my friends and family, and, have everything just fall apart because of bad decisions that I'm making. I don't want that. So I want the opposite. I want to be fruitful. I want to win. I want everything to be A plus, and it's hard to do, but it can be done because of the mental toughness and the discipline that it takes to do all the things that you're supposed to do, and not trying to be weak in any area. And if you feel that in any area, try to take care of that and fill that gap up with as much whatever to not feel that feeling anymore, to where it will seep into other areas of your life. Like I said, Jon Jones, he's a great example. Like, just couldn't handle staying away from the drugs, and eventually it seeps into his fighting career, most likely, a lot of other areas in his life. And instead of being on the news for winning championships and doing good things, he's on the news for negative stuff, and again, pick a celebrity or a person, or whatever, Tiger Woods. Like, people make mistakes. You can make a comeback from the mistakes, but that's not what I want. I don't want to hit rock bottom and then like have to come all the way back up and rebuild. I mean, if I have to, like, say for instance the pandemic, with this, and if it just causes me to shut down and I lose the business and whatever, okay, that's out of my control. I'll just find a way to make a comeback and rebuild, all right? But not because of my own doing, because of my mental toughness wasn't in all the right spots to make sure that I don't lose what I have. Again, I like what I have a lot, and I want more of what I have because there's always room for improvement. So there's motivation there to just keep learning, listening, doing stuff like this, like these videos, and listening to the things that I listened to this morning, because it helps me become more self-aware of not making certain mistakes, even though I know I'm going to make them, and you will make them too, because we are human and we are going to mess up. But I don't want to mess up on purpose, because I'm not checking myself when I need to check myself with mental toughness and being mentally weak in certain areas. Again, it could be food, sugar, alcohol, drugs, a relationship, holding on to things that isn't fruitful and isn't going to get you anywhere, is just a recipe for disaster. And so when they brought this up and when they said that, it just hit home for me, because, I have to be mentally tough in so many areas. I mean, there's just things that, you just don't want to do just because you just don't feel like doing them. Just because maybe I'm tired, it's been a long week. I train a lot, I run a lot, I work out a lot, body's beat up, maybe mentally just exhausted just from whatever's going on through the week or whatever I'm dealing with the business or whatnot. But that doesn't give me any excuse to not get up and make things happen the way I need to make them happen, like doing these videos, right? Or whatever the case may be. I don't want to lose what I have, so I have to use, I have to be mentally tough in a bunch of different areas to make sure I can stay where I'm at. I had a student, I think last week, maybe the week before, asked me, "Hey, coach, this individual's been with me since white to black belt now." I gave him, he came in as a white belt, and I gave him all his belts, and as a black belt, didn't know any other jiu-jitsu, didn't train in any other school. So he's been with me for a very, very long time, and he's seen me go through a lot with people. what they say, how they talk, what they post, whatever the case may be. And he just, after class, and I thought I brought this up in one of my other episodes, was like, hey, Coach, how are you able to deal with all the stuff that I've seen you go through? And, I gave him a long, drawn-out answer of all the stuff that I've been through prior to jiu-jitsu. But basically what it just comes down to is just being mentally tough and not taking anyone's crap. It's just what it is. And I told him, I was like, man, how do you just piss people off with greatness? How do you handle all the negativity and all the stuff that you like, by being successful, by winning, by getting up every day, by not being mentally weak, mentally tough, and just annoying people with the fact that you just won't break and you just won't go down, and you will just continue to get back up and fighting. And more that they like to say or talk about you, the more and more it just pushes you to just do even better. So it just makes you grow as a person, because of all the hate that they push in my direction. How do you do that? You just mentally tough. You got to deal with it. You got to suck it up and just be like, yeah, that sucks. No one wants to be talked about. No one wants to be rumors or whatever the case may be spread about them, or just people just unappreciative to where you helped them get to, and then they forget about how they got there. But it is what it is. You can't control other people and how they act or how they do things. All you can control is how you think and react to those people, and just be mentally tough. Have thick skin with everything that happens. I'm just looking at my notes here, and then just not going down, and that's it. I just refuse to go down. I think I just have too many things around me to work for. And I'm looking at my desk with all this stuff that's around me. Again, unbeatable mind, champion's mind, do the work, 10x rule, compound effect, psychology of champions, dichotomy of leadership strategy and tactics, discipline equals freedom over there, and then the code evaluation and the protocols by Jocko, and then listening to the things that I listen to. So how do you become mentally tough in all these other areas and making sure you're not getting weak in one to where it will seep into the others? This kind of stuff. Not that I'm like unstoppable and like I'm like some Terminator and I can't be killed kind of thing. I know I can. I hurt just like everyone else. It's just kind of how I deal with it, and then what I'm gonna do afterwards is just the answer when things happen. So mental toughness is not just one thing. It's everything. It's getting up on time. It's getting up early like you're supposed to. It's just getting the job done day in and day out to make sure that you stay on the path to winning. And the second that you feel like you're losing, you need to check yourself, be more self-aware, more self-conscious of like, hey, yeah, that's not good. I need to let that go. And, let's go the other way. Again, the fear of losing everything. I just, I give it to a lot of the guys that did lose a lot, lose everything, and then rebuild and then come back and win. I just don't want to put myself through that. Why? When I can just stay on the path and just do, I don't know, maybe, who knows what the future holds, but I definitely don't want to go in that direction and lose everything that I had because, I'm just being silly with my decisions. And, now I got to start over from ashes because I burned everything down. That's not where I want to be. So hopefully that's not the case ever, but you just never know because you just never know. But at least I have these things around me to kind of help check myself and make sure that I am, mentally tough more than one area. Like I said, they were talking about doing doing the dishes right. If you can't do the dishes right kind of thing, then how do you expect to run a Fortune 500 company or any company or do anything? It's the small things. It's the small little details, the small disciplines that add up, that help you get to where you get to. And so for me, it's like daily annoying, monotonous things that I got to do. Like I'm getting ready to go out here and wash this car real quick because the car's got to be clean. I did one yesterday and I got 2 more to do today, because the car's got to get clean. It just has to be done. Yard's done. It's all cleaned up, edged up, looking good. And I can't have 2 dirty cars sitting in my driveway looking nasty. It's not how I roll. Backyard looks clean. Everything has to be on point. It's a lot of work, but it all adds up, those small disciplines, into big, great things. So mental toughness is not one thing. So if you're going through some tough things and you're kind of going backwards and you catch yourself in this downward spiral, you are, get out of that position quick, run from it and get back into the win column. I do know some people personally right now where they're not winning right now, and you can give them as much advice as you want. It's just up to them to decide whether or not they want to stay there or not. And sometimes people are so beaten down that, they pretty much just gave up. And it's until one day they just feel like enough's enough, they will get up. And the purpose of these videos and the things that I say is to hopefully prevent going all the way to that point of ground zero where it's like, man, you got to start from all the way from nothing again. I don't want to do that. So hopefully you don't either. And hopefully you want to get a win for the day. So let's do it. I got stuff to do. Cars to wash, finish cleaning up, and then I got jiu-jitsu. All right, guys. We'll catch you guys on the next one. We'll see you.